everyone. Welcome to another episode of Women Worldwide. Thank you for showing up and for being here. Today, I'm flying solo, and the topic is the baseline and evaluating your communications. I've been doing a lot of baseline assessments for the past 2 years, and it's something that we often don't think about, but is really important if you were out there speaking or you're interviewing in front of the media, or even just when you show up for presentations and meetings with your team. The baseline is a way to evaluate your voice. How does your voice sound under normal circumstances? When you're relaxed, what words are you able to use? And are you verbally fluent when you're communicating? And what is your body doing? As you're sharing, as your voice sounds great and you're thinking of what you want to say, does your body match what you're saying and what you're thinking? The baseline, first of all, lets you know how you come across and what areas need to be fixed. But most of all, as you go through a baseline, you also can compare it to what happens when you're really nervous, or you feel overwhelmed, or there's a crisis and you have to show up and give the update to your audience or your employees. You might go outside of your own baseline. When I talk about the baseline, I do break it into voice, vocal, that's vocal cues, verbal cues, which is your verbal fluency and the words that you're selecting and how easily you can pull them, and then all the things that your body does. When voice, verbal cues, and nonverbal cues align, that means you are the influential communicator. You're able to come through to your audience wherever you show up, calm, clear, concise, and confident. Not just your own confidence, which is really important, but other people having confidence in what you're saying and what their next steps need to be. Let's talk a little bit about the voice. Under normal circumstances, you're going to want to understand the pitch of your voice. Pitch is how you modulate. Sometimes you might go higher when you're excited. You might go lower to stress a point. We tend to modulate our voice because it's more pleasing to the ear. If you're monotone and one tone, it's not as pleasing. So you want to understand if you're modulating correctly under normal circumstances. And then it's also important to listen closely to something I call and is known as upspeak. Upspeak is a lilt up at the end of a phrase or a sentence. If you lilt up all the time when you speak, people will think you're asking them a question rather than making a statement. And this doesn't help you come across as the expert, as that somebody, as that thought leader who is sharing expertise. It's really important to watch that lilt up. That usually happens when we're nervous. And you can see how you do in your baseline and then compare that to situations when you are feeling stressed. Same thing with speed of your voice. Do you speak slowly? Do you have to speed up because you're speaking to executives and they need information more quickly? When you're teaching a class on astrophysics, I bet you slow down your voice. These are all normal circumstances, but what happens to the speed of your voice and the cadence, that rhythm, that emphasis of the words that are so important? Well, as your voice speeds up, so does that beat. And if it's too fast, it's harder to understand. The baseline and your voice very much has to do with breathing. So you're looking at your breathing rate, learning if you're breathing in your chest, which is thoracic breathing, or if you're actually breathing from your diaphragm, which is belly breathing. And here's why. Because when you're under the stressful situations and overwhelm and you're breathing in your chest, well, guess what? You get nervous and you start breathing in your throat, and your words don't come out. You can't even find the breath to speak. That's some of the ways that we look at voice, including voice energy, using voice energy to get people excited. That's vocal cues and the baseline. When we look at verbal fluency, that's all about your ability to pull information, cognitive function. Am I able to think and grab the words that I need when I need to say them? Or am I not able to pause and be intentional with what I want to share, but rather just add in meaningless filler words? If your baseline has filler words, annoying filler words, such as, like, so, and you're doing this, maybe you're not reaching the threshold, which is 13 annoying filler words in a block of 100, you will lose comprehension and credibility. But even if you had 5 in 1 minute as a part of your normal baseline, you can expect under overwhelm, stress, and duress that those annoying filler words will increase. Understanding where you are and working on that really helps when you have the issues and even sometimes crisis. Sentence structure matters. Do you have fading facts normally, meaning your voice trails off at the end? That happens. Knowing and understanding yourself is really important. And the last part is understanding how your body shows up. Just because your voice sounds one way and you're saying certain words, does your body correspond? Is your head nodding correctly, or are you wanting somebody to do something that you think is important and you're saying no? What are your eyes doing? Are they darting back and forth? How do you access information with your eyes? Do you look up left when you try to remember a story that's happened? Do you look down left because you're having an internal dialogue trying to remember something? And how do you say it? There's different things that we do with our eyes. There's also ways that we touch our face under normal circumstances. We might do this. These are all adapters and they soothe us. How does your neck look when you're speaking normally versus when you're nervous? Maybe it gets red. Maybe you're tense. What do your hands do? Are your hands relaxed? Are you using your hands when you speak? Are they in the mid-range? That's the truth plane. Are they in the passion plane? And when you get excited or under different circumstances, when your hands change, that means you're outside of your baseline and something happened. Same thing with your arms. What are your shoulders doing? What do your feet, your legs? Your body is telling a story. So you have to know what goes on every day and how you show up to then understand the stressful circumstances and how you want to harness that energy, because you don't want everybody to know what's going on. And especially if you're having an issue or a crisis, you do want to harness that energy to be calmer and more in control so you can help others. The best part of learning about yourself and a baseline is to be able to then look at others around you and say, certain people communicate a specific way. I know the sound of their voice. I know the words that they use and what their bodies do under normal circumstances. You'll be able to detect when somebody is upset, when they're overwhelmed, feeling stress, maybe it's a little anxiety, maybe they're just having one of those crazy, out of control days, and you can help them by changing the sound of your voice, by adjusting the words that you use, and even having more open body language. Well, that is the baseline and how to assess your communication. Just know everything changes under different scenarios and circumstances, but it's really good to become aware and present and to understand yourself wherever you show up. I want to thank you. If you do want to learn more about baselining, and if you ever want to have a baseline assessment, feel free to reach out to me. I'm Deirdre at pureperformancecom with 2Ms.com. Otherwise, friends, I hope that you have enjoyed this episode. And as I always say, keep the conversations going, the feedback coming. I'm on LinkedIn, so you can always find me there. And I'm also on Twitter. I'm at Dee Breckenridge. Feel free to ask me a question. All right. Until next time, stay focused, energized, and feeling empowered. Thank you.